I will just do this myself.
I'm fired up to break this one down. I'm really surprised that Buffalo played that defense. A beautiful call by Philadelphia offensively.
Eagles win a thriller, 37-34 in OT. Here's Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen after the game.
I just truly go out there and try and play to the standard and be the best that I can be for my team. And there are times today that I feel like I didn't do that, but when it mattered most, I feel like we did a good job of doing what we need to do.
They're defending NFC champs for a reason. They made plays tonight and made enough to win the game.
Okay, so we got to take this entire segment to talk about this because this game was unbelievable. You look at what Jalen did. I mean, you talk about 3 TDs through the air. He gets 2 running the football. They are, I think their 5th straight win when they're trailing by double digits. Your single biggest takeaway from that game.
Yeah, Philadelphia as a quarterback you just can't kill. I think that's the difference from them and so many teams. And they're the best second-half football team in the NFL. That's the game of the year. It was an MVP for performance from Jalen Hurts. And that's that conversation that gets around these quarterbacks so often. But if you just go to the end of the game and then that overtime drive, we're talking about 8 of 12, 6 first downs. We're talking about 30 yards rushing with a touchdown. Can you be your best, your very best, when it's needed the most? This was a team that was playing without their right tackle, without their starting tight end. And when it comes to like the flow of the game, and we're not running the ball specifically well, and we're down, and Josh Allen is having an unbelievable game. RC said this a couple weeks ago, and like I think in many ways, I think a lot of people were like, when RC said there's not a better late game, big game quarterback in the NFL than Jalen Hurts, I brushed at it a little bit. And when you watch the last 2 weeks, you're going, okay. That's the difference is Philadelphia has a quarterback that game on the line, 4th quarter, overtime, you put the ball in his hands, there's a difference maker.
And I think we get so caught up in looking at what Jalen Hurts' game is aesthetically, right? Is it the wild throws? Are there so many wild plays? Does he play above the X's and O's from a talent standpoint? And we start to kind of diminish what he accomplished.
Yeah.
And I told you this on Friday. We've always found ways to quantify quarterback plays by wins, right? By stepping up in the clutch moments. In the last 2 years, what quarterback has stepped up as many times as Jalen Hurts? Nope. In the last 2 weeks, and facing who we probably all believe are the 2 most talented quarterbacks on planet Earth, Jalen Hurts made the plays to allow his team to win the football game. And let's be honest, in both of those games, you could say part of the reason that they are losing or they are down by double-digit points or double-digit scores is because Jalen Hurts wasn't at his best. But when it was time to be your best, when it was time to put your team on your back and win the game, Jalen Hurts did it again. And so now you're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, and I know we talk all the time about how complete of a team it is. Right. It's not, because there was no Lane Johnson, maybe a future Hall of Famer. Sure. There was no Dallas Goedert, who has been the outlet for Jalen Hurts. It was Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson trying to find a way to win the game when A.J. Brown was not being the MVP candidate. He'd been the whole season. You find Devontae Smith. You find Zacchaeus in the back of the end zone. You use your legs. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles know that in their quarterback, they have a guy that can stand across from any quarterback in the entire NFL and not only be on the same tier, but be a step above and a level above, and not many people have that.
RC, hearing you talk, real quick before Rex goes, hearing you talk, when you say aesthetically, I think the thing that is interesting about Jalen is he is this dynamic athlete, but in those moments, when it comes to what it looks like,
it's quiet,
it's boring,
it's slow,
it's quiet, it's almost
composed.
Tom Brady-ish, you know, where it's just like this. It's this death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's this jab, 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 jab. Where when it's Patrick, it's wow. When it's Josh Allen, it's wow.
Honestly, though, like, look at his personality, though.
Yes.
Right? Like Jalen Hurts,
matches the personality.
I have legitimately said, I think he's attempting to be boring as hell.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's attempting to not be excited. Like, when you look at him after the kick, it's 59 yards, and he's just chilling. Like, you meet him after the game, he's like, man, you're a good brother, man. It's a pleasure to meet you. Like, he's actually too cool. Like, he shouldn't be a Q. He should have have been a Kappa.
Right.
Like, he's that smooth. But in those moments, it's that ability to be composed and to be self-aware. Right? Most people finish the game like Jalen Hurts does, and he's excited, and he's talking about all the plays he's made. He's not excited because he's thinking he's focused on a championship. And in order to get a championship, he knows he needs to be that.
Rex, let me ask you this.
I'm going to say something real quick about Jalen Hurts. He's a hired killer. That's who he is. And so is their coach.
I was going to say,
coach is a hired killer.
If you're a coach,
he's at his best in the fourth quarter of games when he makes adjustments. Look at the run game. They were getting their butts kicked. We can say what we want. They were getting their butts kicked. And while all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, coaching still matters. He makes the adjustment in the run game. DeAndre Swift was a beast in the fourth quarter and late in that game as well. So those two are at their very best. And to me, I was going to say this, Brian. This team has the championship medal. That's what they have. That's what separates them from everybody else. Certainly separates them from Buffalo, because the one thing that team misses is they don't have that championship medal. And I'm going to tell you, you mentioned Tom Brady, all right?
You love him too.
I do love Tom Brady. But I'm going to say this. This team reminds me of the old Patriots, meaning you think you got them. All right. Many times I sat over, we got these dudes. We got them. They find a way to win it late in the game, or we find a way to lose it. And it was like we didn't have it where they did. And the damnedest thing to me, it drives me crazy.
We're going to talk a lot about these guys, and I'm happy you brought out that point, because with the Eagles, they could play horrible for 3 quarters and still pull it out in the end. They continue to do this week after week. You made the great point when we were looking at that highlight. This game would have been over had he connected with Gabe Davis in overtime, and they don't.
Yeah, it's an option route. They're in 0, so we max protected it. Understanding, they're coming to get me. I made a guess, and I guessed wrong.
He said they guessed wrong. So, Dan, walk us through this. What was Josh Allen seeing, and what happened?
Well, first of all, it goes to second down. When they get 2nd and 10 and Josh Allen gets outside the pocket and he's getting chased by Jordan Davis.
It's my favorite play of the game.
In many ways, it's like it kind of seals the game for Philadelphia. He's running after Josh and beats him to the corner, essentially, forces this 3rd down now. You're going to get all-out pressure, okay? Meaning everyone's playing man coverage. If you're not playing man coverage, you're blitzing the quarterback. So you got to get the ball to your hands. You get a switch release. So you get, this is, as an offense, we win. And it's a decision between quarterback and wide receiver. You're playing off leverage. He can go either out to the corner or into a post. And Gabe guesses the out to the corner, and Josh guesses the into the post. So you sit there and go like, who's to blame? No one. It's just, that's one. That's why the defense does that. The defense forces us as an offense to make the decision just a fraction of a second before we want to. And then quarterback and wide receiver, we have to see it the very same way at the very same moment. If Josh could take one more step and hold it, Buffalo wins the game. But he doesn't. If Gabe Davis could make that decision a fraction of a second sooner, Buffalo wins the game. But he doesn't. And that's the reason why that incompletion falls to the ground.
And that's the reason why Buffalo has lost more one-score games than anybody.
And also, too, it's actually a credit to what Josh was doing the entire day, which was taking what the defense gave him.
100%.
He did the entire day. If that ball to the flat was open, he took it. How many 3rd downs did we watch Josh Allen complete that pass? Or how many 3rd downs did we see Josh Allen look down the field, not feel like he had the correct read or had an opportunity to make the throw, so he used his legs? And so what the Philadelphia Eagles decided was, we're going to take it out of Josh Allen's hands. We're going to take away his first read. We're not going to give him the ability to run, and they're going to have to execute above the neck. And at that moment, they didn't. At that moment, they were on different pages. But that's what championship teams do. Championship teams execute in that moment. Championship quarterbacks execute in that moment. And this is not to the Bills Mafia to say that Josh Allen wasn't the best player on the field yesterday, because he was. But how do we quantify greatness at that position? Nobody looks at Tom Brady and says that he's the greatest of all time because he was the most talented of all time. It was when the team around him gave him an opportunity to be in the biggest moments, he was at his best. He was better than he was in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter. We have not seen Josh consistently be better in that one moment. And that doesn't take away from the fact that without him, his team isn't there. But last night, it was the tale of two quarterbacks with opportunities to make winning plays, given what their team provided them. And I felt like Jalen did it just a notch above last night in the most critical moments, and that's why they win.
Rex, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I look at it this way. If, you know, Josh, they actually had the protection. If he could have just held it a split second longer and know that, because he sets as an option route. And what the thing that gets me is generally when you have an outbreaking route against cover zero, you usually have a 7 with it.
Right.
So I was surprised that he had the option to go inside or outside. But to me, I just thought he would drop it over there and it'd be a touchdown. We'd be talking about how he's the guy. Like, because to me, that dude was an absolute beast in this game.
Yeah.
Like an absolute beast.
Rex, let's say this. Let's say this. Philadelphia had the clutch quarterback. Josh was the best player in the field yesterday.
Yeah.
Josh was the best player in the NFL yesterday.
I said that.
Yeah.
And but the thing is this, though. This isn't the first time we've ever said that about Josh Allen.
No.
Right? We've said many times that Josh Allen today was the best player in the NFL. We had stretches where we felt that when is that going to be a championship for Josh Allen?